Did you know that 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years? And today I'm going to reveal the big reason why this is happening. So you're in a business, you're grinding away, you're working like long hours, and you miss the core foundation of any business is to get customers and serve customers. I see this time and time again, even with some of my own clients. They work so hard on their business, working in the business in every single area, looking at the social media, CRM systems, this system, that system, and the amount of time they actually focus on acquiring new customers, new clients, and actually servicing them, it's a massive gap. And this is one thing I've caught myself doing too. You get caught up in the nitty gritty in areas that don't really concern you. This is what your team members should be doing. You should be focused on the high level activities. I want you to today look at how much time are you actually spending on a day-to-day basis on acquiring a new customer, speaking to a new client, a prospect, reaching out, doing outreach. And then at the end of the month, sales ain't going up. Nothing's changing. Money's in, the cash flow's tight. So what do you expect is going to happen if you're not focusing on the number one thing that's going to bring the customers in, the clients in? You can't just sit around twiddling your thumbs. You've got to have income producing activities. You've got to take huge amounts of action. Now, I'm not talking about grinding away, the hustle and all that sort of stuff you hear on the internet, right? Hustling away, grinding away, burning out. I'm on about actually taking responsibility. A lot of people actually avoid sales because they ain't comfortable with selling. I was like reading something yesterday about spending time in the sales cycle on a day-to-day basis, how people avoid it, how people, even like people that run multi-million-dollar organizations, avoid that. But you, as a business owner, your responsibility is to keep the business going, thriving, not just flattening out. Take a look at your daily activities. Do you set yourself KPIs, targets of what you must do? You got to get tough on yourself, because otherwise, guess what? Your team ain't going to work as hard as you. Your best salesperson isn't going to work as hard as you. They get their commission, but ultimately, imagine if you really nailed this number one activity, getting clients, and getting clients, right? And you might not deliver the service, but you might have a team. But still you want to be focusing on your team. Teams do. If you've got a sales team, you'll find that they will lose motivation. They need lifting up. Leadership filters down from the top. Ask yourself a question. How are you leading your team? How are you steering your boat? Imagine your business is a vessel, right? A boat in the middle of the ocean, and you don't take control of the vessel. What do you think is going to happen? If you don't take care of that big wheel that turns a ship around and you're just bumping around in the middle of the ocean, what's going to happen? You're going to go nowhere, right? You're going to go wherever the flow takes you, wherever the current takes you. And this is what happens every day in people's businesses. You just like going with the flow. You're not really doing anything. Having goals, like a lot of people have goals, but they don't really match the activities, match their actions with their goals, right? I want to earn $1 million a year. Okay, go look at your activities. Do your actions match that of someone who earns $1 million a year? Or maybe you want to earn your first 10K month. Do your actions match that? Maybe you're in a 9 to 5 even, right? And you're thinking about starting up a business. Are you taking any action towards that business? Maybe you're looking to sell your business, and all it's been is an idea. We're going to sell the business, but you got to take action. I remember we was trying to sell one of my businesses not so long ago. I couldn't attract the right buyer. I wasn't attracting the right buyer. The business wasn't doing great like it should be, right? So it's something that I lost interest in. This is a few years back, and I wasn't attracting the right type of buyer. But one thing I missed out is there's this one guy. He kept on turning up, right? Over 6 months. I'm interested in your business. I wouldn't give him the time of day because I kind of like looked at him as a time waster, and he just kept on coming up to me and asking me, look, are you still looking to sell your business? I had a couple of little deals going through, but I didn't take him seriously. And guess what? This guy was the one who actually brought my business for a decent premium, more than anybody else was paying for it. He actually paid probably, 8 times more than it's worth because he saw the potential. And yeah, I had all of these other people coming around tie kicking, and I wasn't having a conversation with everybody. So I wasn't having that sales conversation. I should have taken everybody seriously. How many times do you have someone that's approached you, you can speak to, you've been speaking to, and you haven't taken them seriously because you've identified them, you maybe labeled them as you don't think that they would buy your business. Maybe you look at the car they drive, you judge them, and you don't think they've got the money to buy the business. And I made a huge mistake. And when I finally gave him time of the day out of desperation, because he kept on showing up, I thought that he's obviously interested, so have a conversation. And it was the smoothest transaction ever. No messing about, no quibbling on the price. The price was the price. We set that and everything was so smooth. And today I really want to cover in like identifying areas that could break your business, are affecting your turnover, are affecting your sales, your cash flow. Go look at your bank balance right now. And I want you to understand this one thing. Your bank balance in your business account, your personal account, is in direct proportion to the amount of service that you're rendering. People want to get rich. People want to make more money. So how do you make more money? Do you spend more money in marketing? Do you spend more money on funnels, PR, advertising? Or do you make more money by actually rendering service? We get caught up in the wrong thing. I've been guilty of this myself. Just want to have you spend so long creating ads, funnels, copy, email sequences, but you actually forget about the 2,000 or 5,000 leads that you already have in your ecosystem and you haven't reached out to them. You're so busy constantly looking to bring in new business when you don't really need new leads. A lot of business owners make this huge mistake. I just don't have the right leads. I had this conversation the other day. We're not getting any new leads. The leads are drying up. Okay, how many people have you got in your ecosystem? I've got 10,000 people sitting on our database. I'm like, dude, why don't you go back and contact each one of them? I never thought of that. Ain't rocket science, right? You paid money for all of these people to come in. You spent years on advertising, different types of campaigns and all that kind of stuff. So you got all of these people in your database. You spent money getting them to your show, right? Your business. Imagine it's a show. You spent time bringing them there and then you've just neglected them. They're just sitting there. Right now, if you take my advice today, I promise you this will make a huge difference in your cash flow. Your profits will go through the roof, all from a free freaking podcast. I ain't even charging you for this podcast. All I'm asking you to do is take some freaking action. Maybe some of you have been waiting around to get into my coaching, right? But you're not taking the advice that I'm offering here. This is advice that you can actually use. And we have so many emails coming in on a week-to-week basis where, Mindy, I tried that strategy. You know what? I made an extra 15,000 or I got a 200 grand contract from that. I'm having conversations. So this has the potential of bringing you more money. So go into your CRM system, go into your database, go into your past clients' contact list, and go contact every single one of them. Now, there's going to be an element of fear that comes up. This fear is going to say, well, I don't want to sound too desperate. I don't want to sound salesy. This is the sort of shit that makes 90% of businesses, breaks them up in the first 5 years. Don't get caught up in that trap. When we have a business, when we first start that business, we never get a manual, like an operations manual, like how to actually survive, how to actually make sure that your business does not sink, the ship does not break and crash into the iceberg like the Titanic did. What if there was a game plan that you could follow, a day-to-day blueprint where it tells you how to take your business from where it is and how to scale it week upon week? Wouldn't that be amazing? We have all sorts of programs like fitness programs, right? But we also have that for businesses. This is exactly what we do. I always say our coaching is like an insurance and policy against failure because we show you how to not fail, right? If you follow the advice, there's a blueprint, right? Everything that you want to do, there's a blueprint. If you want to learn how to be an accountant, there's education that you've got to go through. You've got to go through college, university, whatever. You've got to go through the fundamentals. Business is no different. The thing is with businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs are trying to just go with the flow, make things up as they go along. They don't really follow a streamlined process. Right, number one area that you should be focused on really is getting sales in. Because once you get sales, you make money. You don't make sales, guess what? You don't make money. Simple, right? Such a simple thing. Hear it all the time. Mindy, business is dry. There's no new customers coming in. All right, what are you doing about it? Are we doing the marketing? We're doing this, we're doing that, sending email newsletters. We're putting loads of content out there. We're vlogging. We're doing interviews. We're going on people's podcasts. All right, that's cool. But are you speaking to anybody? What do you mean? Are you having conversations with potential clients? Are you setting up meetings, consultations, getting people in talking about your products and services? No. People rely on just people coming up to you and say, hey, listen, I want to buy from you. That does happen, but it happens when you're at a certain level of business, right? People are not going to just get a knock on your door and say, hey, listen, sell me something. They might do, but most of the time they won't, right? So get into a position where you're actually comfortable in your own skin, going out and speaking to people, right? It's very simple. The thing is, most people don't even know how to start a conversation, right? You go to a function, you go to somewhere. A lot of people don't really know what to say. So awkward, socially awkward. Social media, right? Right now, everybody's so busy on social media. Back in the day, when I first learned how to sell in the early 90s, I was in retail. We were taught how to sell. We were taught how to speak to a prospect, somebody that we didn't know how to break the ice. Nowadays, we're living in a different world of DMs and, all that kind of stuff, voice notes. But when it comes to a real social environment, there's such awkwardness. The confidence is not there. Social skills are not there. And you've got to develop these things. So I would suggest that you bring yourself out your shell and really work on your confidence as well, on yourself and how you approach your business. Now, once you gain bigger confidence in yourself and you're comfortable at speaking to people, you going and talking to someone, a total stranger, is going to be so easy. I remember when I first started going over to America to all the seminars I used to go to. In England, I was so afraid of talking to people because they might judge me. I might be like the weirdo. What's that weirdo one, right? When somebody comes up to you, stranger, hi, my name's Mindy. You think, well, what you after? First thing, right? Don't talk to strangers. You were taught not to talk to strangers by your parents. The teachers told you, don't talk to strangers on the way home. So I made a decision when I went out to America that there was this huge seminar, probably about 450 people there. I made a decision. One thing I'd really love to do is be more outgoing, be more personable, easy to talk to. So I just went up to the first person I met. I remember going to in the Hilton Hotel in Las Vegas, right by the airport. I was waiting to get into these seminar room. And I told myself, the first person I see, I'm going to go talk to them. And I remember I saw a couple of good friends of mine now. And I just went up to him. I said, hi, my name's Mindy. And he was with his wife. And we introduced ourselves to each other. And we still keep in contact today. This was in 2017, right? We're still, because of that conversation. And I would make a habit. No one knew me there. No one could judge me. They don't know if I'm a shy person, if I'm introverted or extroverted. So I would go out and start talking to people. I'd go to America. I'd go out on my own because I went there on my own. I'd go to dinner on my own and I'd make friends. I'd speak to people on the table next to me. So I started to form a habit. And now I'm very comfortable at talking to people. And that's a great skill. It's a great skill to have when you have the ability to talk to people. Imagine you took away all of your marketing, right? You went into a new town and no one knew you. No one knew who you were. You didn't have any advertising budget. You didn't have nothing. You didn't have social media. And you had bills to pay. You had a family to feed. And you had a great product. How would you sell that? Would you sit around and visualize yourself, hope clients come in today, prospect comes in today? Or would you go out looking for the business? Would you go out knocking on doors because you had no other choice? You couldn't rely on your social media following. You couldn't rely on your Insta account and your X or whatever else that you're on. What would you do then? Businesses back in the day, they were built in the traditional ways, right? You'd go out and you speak to people, you connect with people, you have meetings, and you'd learn how to sell. You had to sell. You'd had no fancy funnels, no marketing. When I first started my first cleaning business, I didn't have no leaflets, didn't have no business cards, didn't have nothing. I was simply door knocking. And ask people to do that now. Go door knocking, actually knocking on people's doors, going into the restaurant. Hey, can I speak to the manager? Can I speak to the owner? How many people will actually have the ability to actually do that nowadays? This social media stuff has really spoiled people. Imagine if your internet broke down, right? Imagine the internet went down for fucking 6 weeks. Remember COVID? Imagine if you had an internet COVID. Internet COVID, or the internet connection's gone down, your Insta's not working, WhatsApp's not working, and all you could still get out and about. How would you grow your business? How would you pay your bills on that big house that you've got and the car that you got on finance? How would you sustain your lifestyle? How would you keep your kids' school fees paid when there's no internet? The one medium that you use, that you leverage the most. That would be a scary place, right? How about you spend a week without internet and thinking, right, how can I build a business? How can I scale my business? A great program that I saw was Grant Cardone's Undercover Billionaire. Have you watched that? It's a great thing. It's on Discovery. And he had a challenge to make, I think it's $1 million. You had to make $1 million within 90 days. And that guy went out and it was hard for him. And he even shared in that documentary how hard it actually was without your name, without your brand, without your contacts, without your phone, to actually go out there and build new relationships. Relationships is a key to business as well, right? Building good relationships with your clients, with prospects, with other people that have influence in your area. Connections. But it's so hard to make connections. People feel so awkward about prospecting. So if you're not willing to put the work in, guess what? You are doomed. If you're not willing to grow, if you're not willing to step out your comfort zone, shit's going to hit the fan and you ain't going to know what to do. So this is why 90% of business owners fail. Businesses fail. And guess what? They don't just fail once. A lot of entrepreneurs, they try lots of different things and they keep on fucking failing, right? 5 different businesses, they've all failed, right? Maybe in the first 6 months, 5 months. I mean, we're being very generous when we talk about in the first 5 years, but how many businesses actually fail in the first 18 months, in the first 6 months? Cash flow is the main reason why they fail. Lack of cash flow happens because you've got lack of customers, lack of sales. Fix the sales, the cash flow will take care of itself. Remember that. So this is me signing out. Enjoy. Make sure you implement.